What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about some bad news regarding the release of Season 4 Reloaded. Definitely stay tuned. Now in the background, you're going to be seeing some gameplay of Barrage and then Lowtown. Lowtown's not really a map I've played all that much in BO6. I think Overdrive is an experience that really helps with the pacing of a big map like that, which is also an issue that I felt with the new Fugitive multiplayer map just with the launch of Season 4. Apart from that, though, I also want to really thank everybody out there for their immense support on the recent live streams. You guys have been crushing it with the support lately, and it really does mean the world to me. But today was a federal holiday, obviously a big and important date for the Black Ops 2 canon. Yes, we can now say that Black Ops 2 took place in the past. Sadly, it was pure radio silence on the Call of Duty socials over on Treyarch. No one said anything regarding Black Ops 2, nor did we get a teaser for BO7. I think a lot of us were hoping that maybe an ARG would start this week, and if you're unfamiliar with what that is, something like Pawn Takes Pawn or The Truth Lies, some type of interactive marketing to set up the Black Ops 7 narrative. This week probably would have been perfect, especially if it led to potentially pre-orders going live on Friday, June 20th. Now that's tomorrow. I'll be making a follow-up video if pre-orders do end up going live, since I'm sure we'll end up learning a bunch more information about the game. But apart from that, fingers crossed that Treyarch does end up saying something tomorrow to just tie into June 20th, which was a big day when the Cortes Dia video dropped. Now today was the beginning of the Rivals event for Black Ops 6. We've already gone over all the rewards in a previous video, and we've known for a while that it was going to be an XP focused event, which I actually think is strange looking back at the way they structured this, simply because I believe this is the first weekend where not only do we have double XP live, but the event that's live is also XP focused. Usually what we ended up seeing with Modern Warfare and even other Call of Duties is if there was an XP based event that was live, you wouldn't see a double XP weekend coinciding with that, because that would obviously allow you to finish the event faster. So you would think that maybe because of that, the Rivals event in BO6 right now would only last a full week. But no, it's a 14-day event, and the event itself doesn't end until July 3rd. We'll get back to that date in a second, but unfortunately, it also looks like the Shatter Blast ammo mod is currently considered the worst ammo mod for Black Ops 6 Zombies, which is a big disappointment considering how good it was in Cold War and even MW3. But if you're looking to complete the Rivals event as fast as you can, just make sure you get into very long matches such as Endurance Mosh Pit, which is also currently live in multiplayer. And of course, take a look at what camo, reticle, or calling card challenges you can also get done. Now, I did mention the Rivals event does end on July 3rd. The funny thing is, when it comes to every event in Season 4 thus far, the blog post dates that were given for every event have actually turned out wrong. So, the Ballerina event ended up going live a week after we thought it was going to, according to the blog, and was also extended by a week. The Rivals event was also meant to go live last Thursday, but ended up going live earlier today. And initially, the Rivals event was going to end on June 26th, which is what we all predicted to be the launch of Season 4 Reloaded. But since the event now ends on July 3rd, one of two things is possible. Either Reloaded will still drop on June 26th while the Rivals event is active, which would then effectively push back the King of the Dead Zombies event, which is currently scheduled for June 26th according to the blog, or the end of the Rivals event does signal when the mid-season is actually going to begin. So let's point something out real quick. It seems like King of the Dead was implied to be the start date of the mid-season 4 update, but that's probably not going to be the case now. And considering that with the way Reloaded has worked over the last couple of years, we've never really seen a mid-season update past 4 weeks since the start of said season. Black Ops 6 is something a little bit differently with the first 2 seasons, where they ended up dropping Reloaded 3 weeks after the initial start of the season, which I think upon looking back, it may have been a little too early. They could have waited a little bit, but there was lots of other content spread out, which made all of that make sense. Season 3 was a bit weird, where the initial season was pushed back. It released a little bit later than it was supposed to, and then I think during Easter week, devs may have been on holiday break or something, but even the 420 related content released in early May, so Season 3 was kind of iffy and messy when it came to the release of content. Things were obviously relatively broken. But Season 4 also had a weird start, where the day that it began, we noticed the Battle Pass timer got extended, which meant that Season 5 would no longer start on July 24th, but instead on August the 7th. So with that information out the way, it does seem like everything Season 4 related got pushed back by 2 weeks, which could mean that we may end up seeing the latest possible date for a Reloaded update, which marks 5 weeks since the initial start of a season. In this case, the mid-Season 4 update may be on July 3rd. Ironically though, July 3rd would actually represent the true midpoint of Season 4, whereas June 26th is a date that I think we would hope the midseason to be, but that doesn't really reflect the actual middle of the season, since Season 5 got pushed back to potentially August the 7th, according to the current in-game Battle Pass timer. But I don't think it's a coincidence, right? Every event so far in Season 4 has got pushed back by a week, and the Battle Pass timer got extended, so that probably means Season 4 Reloaded also isn't going to be releasing on June 26th, but I really hope I'm wrong about that. I mean, initially, if Season 4 would have followed the formula we saw in the first 2 seasons, then I think Season 4 Reloaded actually would have started today on June 19th, but with a 4-week gap that was typical for Modern Warfare, June 26th would have made sense. Now, with all the delays that I just mentioned, I think July 3rd is now a more likely candidate. So where does that leave us with marketing, right? If Reloaded is going to stick to June 26th, then marketing would probably be this Monday. But if it is on the 3rd, that would mean that the marketing for Reloaded wouldn't be until the very end of June, on July the 30th, a few days before launch. That's kind of how the mid-seasons have been marketed for BO6 and other Call of Duties in the past, where instead of doing the reveal a week before the release, as we see for the beginning of a season, Reloaded roadmaps and blog posts would come out around 2 to 3 days before the start of said content on, let's say, a Monday. I do think it's weird though that there really weren't many bundles added for Season 4 according to all the leaks out there, so we've pretty much gone through the whole batch of bundles thus far, which would mean that if Reloaded is on July 3rd, there just wouldn't be any bundles left from now until that date. And I know some of you guys don't really care about cosmetics. I mean, I don't really buy too many bundles either, but they are usually a good indicator of when we're getting close to the end of a half of a season, because we're out of bundles that are currently in the game's files. But I do think if there's no BO7 marketing left for the month of June and Reloaded isn't until July 3rd, it's going to be a pretty quiet and dry next couple of weeks. Not that there was too much really planned for Season 4 Reloaded anyway, there's not too much content left, but a good amount of surprises were teased in the initial Season 4 blog, which has me thinking we'll end up getting a surprise crossover and hopefully other types of content that weren't initially marketed, since Treyarch is usually good with dropping a bunch of bombshells with the Reloaded update that weren't in the original roadmap. Now, like I've been vocal about before, I think the Black Ops 7 reveal truly saved the month of June. If you're a full-time Call of Duty creator, or even if you aren't, maybe you're just somebody that plays COD full-time or plays it a lot, I think we can all come together and agree that June has been a very different month compared to June of last year. Last year at around this time, we had Truth Lies marketing, you obviously had the Black Ops 6 reveal, the full showcase, a ton of other details, all while Modern Warfare 3 was getting some content throughout its 4th season. This year, though, I mean, we just got the BO7 reveal with potentially more on the way. Maybe pre-orders go live tomorrow and we'll end up getting more marketing throughout the rest of the month. They'll probably even announce a potential next showcase in August or September or something. But apart from that, Season 4 has been pretty bone dry. If you're not a fan of Grief, there probably isn't much for you to do in Zombies right now. And multiplayer is just multiplayer. If you don't like the brand new maps or the new modes, some of which are rehashed from older experiences, then you probably aren't really digging MP right now either. And a lot of the DLC weapons, or most of them, for the last couple of seasons have also been reimagined weapons, nothing too new. And then on the Warzone front, there's really not much going on there at all, just the Overlook POI in Verdansk. And we have the Clash game mode, followed by what is coming soon, right? We have Rebirth Casual, Rebirth Ranked. There's really not much happening, but I think Season 4 will end up going down as the driest and least exciting season of Black Ops 6, but maybe for good reason. If they're going to really ramp up a lot of Black Ops 7 marketing, then Season 4 can kind of be written off a little bit, since our attention will be on the next game. Just hoping that means Season 5 swings back around with a ton of exciting content. We know Janice Towers DLC 4 will be launching with the 5th season, so probably August the 7th, and you know Season 6 is going to be a banger anyway with The Haunting and other Halloween festivities, all while there's probably a beta going on for BO7, so time will fly by. It's really just Season 4 that we have to get through right now, which I think a lot of us out there have been frustrated about. But something that's truly unfortunate is the fact that events just have not made sense for this game. We've been stuck with this formulaic set of events, whether it's XP focused, which I think is okay once in a while, but event passes are already XP focused, so we should leave XP events for those reloaded event passes. I'm sure we'll get another one with the mid-season 4 update too, so I don't think we should also see other XP focused events apart from event passes. We've seen very few actual challenge events, only 2 to my understanding for Black Ops 6, when I think those are just much more fun to actually complete on stream, or even just if you're a regular player, it gives you something different to do in each game mode. And we've also had the repetitive collection events, which I also think are fine if there's a science and strategy with how to get that drop faster. But if it's just a case of pure RNG in every game mode, it gets real repetitive, especially when you finish that event and can't do anything with the items, and you're just collecting hundreds of coins or dollars or whatever it is dropping from an event, and you can't do anything with them. It just kind of bloats all the ground loot in every game mode for no reason. Now, I don't mean to beat a dead horse or be overly negative about events. We talked about those plenty already on previous podcasts. I just think that Season 4 could have been handled a bit better, where if they were going to take things slow and not release too much so that they focus more on Black Ops 7 marketing and making sure that Seasons 5 and 6 are solid, they maybe could have at least tuned up the events more for this season, where there was actual camo rewards or other valuable items that at least are functional and powerful on launch, unlike Shatterblast, which came out earlier today. But I think as both a COD fan and a content creator, it's been real puzzling to see what's been going on since at least Season 3 Reloaded, because Season 3, I think, released on the right note, brought the PR back to a much better state, especially for Warzone and Ricochet and every other game mode. The mid-Season 3 update was effectively delayed and was the latest Reloaded of the Black Ops 6 cycle. Things were broken. It was 420 content, even though it was the month of May when that came out. And then Season 4 released with not too much, but then everything got pushed back. Events, seemingly reloaded now, and who knows what else. It's been real odd to see what's been going on, but I think all of this could be worth it if that means Black Ops 7 will be a better and stronger game with 6 content-packed seasons throughout the year 2026, since at that point, Treyarch won't have to worry about another Call of Duty for many years. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on what could be our new release date for Season 4 Reloaded, which would be July 3rd, 5 weeks after the initial start of the season? Think about it, right? Season 4 launched in May, and Reloaded is going to be the first week of July, which technically is the proper midpoint of the season if August 7th is when Season 5 begins. But with that being said, really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.